All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to install a new operating system for your work. And look, this isn't about those little productivity hacks you see everywhere. This is a complete, fundamental framework designed to help you get your focus back, cut through all the distractions, and seriously multiply your impact. So let's dive in. First up, just a quick question for you. Think about your last week, your last month. Were you busy or were you actually advancing? It's such a critical distinction, right? Because so much of what we call work is really just motion. It's fake productivity that feels good in the moment, but keeps us running in place. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The problem for most people, especially high performers, is never a lack of effort. It's not about working longer hours. The real killer, the thing that sinks projects and businesses, is attention leakage. It's your most valuable resource just draining away, drop by drop, on things that ultimately do not matter. So let's start by properly defining the enemy here. We're going to call it noise. Think of it as this constant storm of distractions, of low-value tasks, of requests that all feel urgent. We mistake it for work, but really it's just static that's drowning out the one thing that's truly important. Does any of this look familiar? This is what that noise creep feels like in the real world. You're busy all day, but you're not actually moving forward. Your entire day is spent reacting to other people's priorities. You're in endless meetings that somehow replace making actual decisions. You're fiddling with tiny optimizations instead of executing on the big stuff. It is the silent killer of all momentum. So, how in the world do we fight back against all this noise? Well, the answer is to install a really powerful filter. And this requires a pretty fundamental shift in how you think, moving way beyond just managing your time. Let's take a look at what that actually means. This right here, this is the core philosophy of the entire system. You have to stop thinking about how to cram more tasks into your day. Instead, start thinking like a bodyguard whose only job is to aggressively defend your attention from anything that doesn't serve the core mission. Your attention, that's your real capital. And I love this slide because it just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have signal. These are the big moves. They create leverage, they move money, they build momentum you can't undo. Then you've got noise. And this is the stuff that fills our days, isn't it? Internal status updates, those vague thoughts messages, spending hours triaging your inbox, and my favorite, the quick calls that are never, ever quick. Okay, so we get the philosophy. Signal good, noise bad. But now for the practical part, how do we actually put this thing into practice? Let's walk through the core rules, the protocols of this new operating system. This is your new morning routine, and you have to treat it as non-negotiable. Before you check a single email, before you look at Slack, before any of the world's noise gets in, you define your 3 to 5 signals for the day. That's it. These are the only things that truly matter. And here's the best part. If you get them done, you've won the day. The day is a win, even if everything else just completely goes off the rails. Now here's your new energy budget, and you can see it's aggressive. A full 80% of your focus, your absolute best energy, goes toward deep, uninterrupted work on your signals. The other 20%, that's for what we'll call controlled noise. Batching your emails, handling quick admin tasks, the stuff that has to get done, but you keep it strictly contained so it doesn't take over your day. To protect that precious 80%, you are going to need a powerful no engine. Because in this system, saying no isn't about your personality, it's not about being rude, it's a critical operational requirement. It's how you protect the signal and maintain that intense focus. So here's your first default response, not aligned right now. It's so clean, it's so direct. It says that the request, no matter how good the intention, just doesn't fit the current mission. You're respecting the idea, but you're not committing your most valuable resource, your attention. This one is even more direct. It just reinforces that ruthless prioritization that's at the very heart of the system. You have to remember, if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. This phrase makes that crystal clear to everyone. And the final tool in your no engine is for those things that might actually have value, just not right now. Revisit later lets you defer the distraction without totally killing a potentially good idea. It lets you stay laser focused on the immediate signal without getting sidetracked by every shiny object. Okay, so let's dial this up a notch. How does the system apply in the most demanding environments out there? For founders, for CEOs, for people making huge deals, where the stakes are the highest, the rules of signal actually become even more critical and, believe it or not, even more constrained. For someone like a CEO, the definition of signal becomes incredibly precise. A task only counts if it is directly moving capital, creating strategic leverage, reducing a major risk to the business, or building a compounding advantage, like intellectual property. If it's not doing one of those four things, it is by definition noise. It must be delegated or eliminated, period. So how many of these super high-stakes signals should a CEO be focused on in a single day? The answer is a maximum of 3. That's it. This insane level of constraint forces judgment. A CEO isn't paid for the volume of work they do, they're paid for their judgment in making the right, high-leverage decisions. And if you try to break this rule, if you try to be a hero and take on more, well, the consequences are pretty severe. You dilute your own authority, you encourage that culture of fake productivity across the whole company, and you end up doing execution work that should be done by your team. Ultimately, it proves a failure of judgment, the one thing you absolutely cannot fail at. Now here is where things get really fascinating. You can actually encode this entire system into an AI agent. Just imagine having a digital partner whose one and only job is to run this ruthless filter for you 24/7, constantly identifying signal, eliminating noise, and forcing you to focus on the one thing that truly matters. So as we start to wrap this up, let's just reframe what this whole system is really about. Because it's not actually about getting more stuff done. It's about generating something far, far more valuable. The way you measure success in this system is completely counterintuitive. You don't win by adding more things to your to-do list. You win by aggressively subtracting everything that is non-essential. Real clarity, real progress, it comes from elimination. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. The goal here isn't to become more productive in that classic busybody sense. The goal is to enforce power, the power that comes from absolute clarity, from violent focus, and from deliberately applying your attention only to the things that can truly change the game. So the question is, what noise will you eliminate tomorrow?